been working on this anodizing system upgrade now for some time, posted a few pictures in the group, but I thought I'd do a little video walkthrough, point out one or two things that may be of interest to others, and welcome any comments. So we'll start in the middle with the anodizing bath itself. I've got a 30 amp, 30 volt power supply up there on the top left. And this tank is a US plastics tank. It was a little under $200. It's 24 by 18 by 18. It's 30 gallons and it's not full. So I think I've got about 26 gallons of electrolyte in there. Lead on both sides of that. Copper anode bar, and most interestingly probably is the cooling coil. So the cooling coil is titanium from Sweet Bessie in the group. Their service was great. It has turned the electrolyte purple though, so I don't know the significance of that. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. So I've got the cooling coil and it's being cooled by a SNA 5200 chiller. And for those that wonder what kind of horsepower that's got, it'll take that bath from 30 degrees C, which is I think around 90 Fahrenheit, down to 70 Fahrenheit or 20 C in about an hour, which is exactly what I thought was reasonable. The next one up is a good bit more expensive, but an hour to cool this down from a Texas summer's day to workable temperature is okay by me. And of course once it gets there, it holds it no problem. It's just circulating distilled water through the coil, nothing fancier than that. I made the anode bar out of a solid bar of copper and turned little copper studs for both the positive and the negative connections to the tank. The cooling coil wasn't that expensive. The shipping was more than the cost of the coil. Because of the geometry of the coil, you got a rectangular coil at the bottom there, but you got those two vertical inlet and outlets. That takes up a lot of volume, so the airlines charge you for the volume based at a standard density, I guess, versus just the weight of it. So it's worth your while if you do this, filling up your box with some other titanium parts. In my case, I got several racks. That's one of them there, and there's a few of them hanging from the ceiling up there. So happy with the titanium stuff so far. The bench itself cost me $100. I think that was a bit of a steal, but I do believe that those sorts of deals are out there. It actually is from the restaurant industry, and it already had a 20-inch wide slot cut in the top, which fit that tank perfectly and fits any number of standard food industry trays. So I've actually configured it with 3 trays, one deep one in the middle and 2 shallow ones. And at the moment I'm still messing with the configuration of what's in the trays, whether that be rinse water, etch, desmut, and in this case there's a dye tank front and center heating up as we speak. So happy with that. It was a bargain. Check out Facebook Marketplace, etc. Google for stainless steel on your local Craigslist. There's a ton of stuff out there, always restaurants selling things. I've got a Vevor, another food industry thing. It's a food warmer, and that is the basis of my sealing system. It hasn't got the oomph that I need, so I use a separate sous vide heater to get that up to temperature, which is exactly what I'm doing here on the dye tank. That's a Vesta sous vide heater circulator, so as well as heating, it's actually, I think you can see it there, it's circulating the dye to get it nice and evenly up to temperature. So happy with that so far. We'll see how long that lasts. Oh, talking about things that last, back to the anodizing tank, we'll see a little aquarium power head down there in the bottom right hand corner. That's held on with a magnet, and took me a little while, but I eventually found one that's got a ceramic shaft, so it's not even got a stainless steel shaft, it's got a ceramic shaft, which I'm hoping will be long lasting. According to the internet, sulfuric acid and ceramics get on quite well, so hoping that works out. So yeah, so this centre section just configure as we need it, and we've got sealing on the right. When I'm actually anodizing, what I typically do is fill up a cart with fresh water, so I don't need that much water on the bench itself. I'll use these tanks to do my main rinses, and that gets changed every session. The backdrop, I share this workshop with some other people, and the backsplash, as it were, is Alpha. It's freestanding Alpha, which some of you may not know is available, but it stands up on its own, and then you get a pegboard back, and it's all demountable and movable, etc. Up on the top shelf, it's this big thing here, which was my original anodizing setup, one of these 6.4 amp DC converters in the middle, which I'm no longer using. On the left hand side I've got a timer, and on the right hand side that's actually a PID temperature controller, which at the moment is displaying the temperature in the acid tank at 20.3 degrees, which is about 69 Fahrenheit, I think. But it's actually got a power outlet on the back of that box, so that PID thing can turn on and off that outlet according to that temperature. So I've got an additional heater somewhere. Yeah, here it is here. So I've got this additional heater which can plug in the back of that, and I'll use that to heat. I hope you found the tour interesting. Everything's on Amazon. If anybody wants to message me, I can send them links to the stuff that I actually bought. Thanks for watching.